Okay, in this video I'm just going to talk about freezing issues on the Wireless Go 2, and I made a kind of a post and a video about how you can kind of resolve that. And off the back of that, I have loads of emails from people asking, how to fix it and what they can do. And I just thought I'd make a video because it's just easier to kind of do it this way. What I offered in that other video is kind of a temporary fix, which, I can link to that and you can check it out. But before you do that, the thing to check that I always say to everybody, make sure that the firmware you've got is version 2.5.0 or above. And at the time of recording this is the latest firmware for the Rode Wireless Go 2. And it was released a little while back, but essentially what they've done is that there's a new feature in there that makes it compatible with the Wireless Pro and Interview Pro. But the main thing in there is they put a bug fix in for a lot of the unit freezing issues. So by doing this, you'll alleviate a lot of those issues. I'm not saying it can't freeze, and if it does, that's where you can use what we showed in that other video. But what you want to do is I've done a video about this in more detail, but essentially I'll link to it. But basically what you want to do is get Rode Central installed on a Mac or PC. I don't think you can do this update on a mobile device. I couldn't do it on my Android device. So yeah, just make sure you've got this on a desktop, and then you can plug in your unit. So you can see here, my unit's on 2.4.6, and the arrow signifies there's a firmware update for it. So you can just click on it. I can click onto there. It checks the battery. The battery has to be it needs enough power to be able to do the update. So you can check the battery by switching on your transmitters and receivers. Just have a quick check on there, make sure they've got enough on there. Once the software is happy, you can just come in, hit update, and then you can say, I've got my wireless devices ready. So basically, you need to update them all. If you just update like one and not the other two, or two and not the other one, you'll have the issue where they won't connect. So just make sure that you do them all in succession. So we'll do this one first. It shouldn't take particularly long, to be honest. You can see it's already halfway there. It's not. It might take a little bit longer if you're on an older version of the firmware. Say you're on the original firmware that the mics came on, which can actually differ depending on. We just hit OK on there. You might not have to do this on yours. Okay, and then you can see we're on firmware version 2.5.0, and with any luck it will connect to it. There we go. So you can see that's connected up to there, that's working. I can go to the settings for the unit, so that's okay. So then what I'll do is unplug that one. Obviously it's a wireless Go, so there's two mics with it. So I'll plug in the second mic. You can see the second one also needs updating. We'll go through the same process, do a battery check. And you can see both of the mics were on 2.4.6, so basically they should all be on the same one, and that sometimes is where people have kind of like pairing issues and stuff. If you do have pairing issues, they're all on the same firmware. I have actually done a video about that as well, so if you're struggling to get your mics to repair after this process, I'll link up to that video, check that out, and then you'll be able to get them all kind of synced up and working again. It's just sometimes a case that the units kind of unpair themselves between firmware updates, and you'll be able to sort that out. So don't worry too much about that. It's all fine. And then we'll just check on here. Yeah, we can see everything on that. So then the last one. Just plug in the last unit, which is our receiver, and then hit update on that one. And that's the last device. So we've got 2 out of 3 of them updated. Sometimes this takes slightly longer than the other 2, depending on the update. Like I say, this isn't a huge update, so it's not going to take particularly long. You can see it's just taken ever so slightly longer than the mics did. Okay, and then once this is done, we'll get that reset message again. Like I say, you might not get that on PC. I get it all the time on the version of Mac I'm on, or the Mac OS. And then once that's done, we're all on version 5. Again, I can see all the options in the mic, so I'm happy with that. And then once you unplug them, the last one, like I say, you can just switch them all on again. Just double check they pair up. If they don't, like I say, just check out that video on pairing them, and that will just resolve that issue. It doesn't happen very often. It's like, it's quite rare that they decide not to pair up again after, but it does happen from time to time. So yeah, that's my advice if you want to try and avoid any kind of freezing issues on the Rode Wireless Go 2. Just make sure you've done this, got it all up to date, and then that's going to avoid a lot of issues that you might run into. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you have, give the video a like. If you want to see more content like this, then please subscribe.